In this video, we're going to talk about something I didn't think I would actually be talking about, and that is the slim possibility of Odell Beckham Jr. coming to the Chiefs, not because of the Chiefs' interest in him per se, but his potential interest in the Chiefs and much freaking more. But first, how about those? What's up, guys? My name is Cole, and I do daily news about the Kansas City Chiefs, so make sure to sub if you're new, hit that like button, blah, 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 all that good stuff. Let's get into this video, starting with an injury report from today. There's a couple players that talked to the media, including Andy Reid, and just some other updates from players that are injured that I want to update you guys on. First off, Andy Reid said offensive lineman Lucas Niang, his knee injury is close, but not quite ready to return, so he remains currently on the PUP list. This is the week, though, that he is eligible to practice, which would open a 21-day window for team to make a decision on activating him, but he's not ready yet. Next up is going to be kicker Harrison Butker with the left ankle sprain. He won't practice today, and I'm just going to assume he's out even as far as Monday Night Football against the Chokeland Faders. This is Raider week. I'm going to use that term a lot, just so you know. Now, I'm not super worried about Harrison Butker not being there because Matthew, never wrong but right, made 5 PATs, 2 field goals, and was excellent on all of his kickoffs last week. So I really like that guy in Harrison Butker's stead. Now, Harrison Butker has a better leg, meaning he can kick it farther, but Matthew Wright has impressed me thus far, so that is okay. Get well soon, Butker. So yeah, he was the only player that actually didn't practice today. Defensive end Mike Dana, who was limited Thursday and Friday, practices last week. He didn't play Sunday. He is practicing today. I don't have the official injury report at the moment, but he did practice today in some capacity. I'm sitting here waiting for the Chiefs' official injury report, but it's not out yet, so it is what it is. Another player is Mecole Hardman. He says the heel is still bothering him a bit, saying it's a can't do everything he wants to do thing, but is close to being 100%. Patrick Mahomes sort of echoed this about Mecole being injured and his ability to, really be utilized truly in this offense. Mahomes said this: the key to getting Mecole Hardman more involved on offense is to get him more and more healthy. He's been dealing with that heel injury, which has noticeably hampered that elite speed just a bit. So there you go. You got Harrison Butker not practicing. Mike Dana is practicing. We'll see if he's limited. Mecole probably practiced because they said the only person not practicing is Butker, but he might have been limited as well. And then everybody else looks good to go from what I can tell. So again, Lucas Niang, not sure about his return, but Matt Verderame, if you're Chat Sports, said this today about cornerback Trent McDuffie. I'm told the Chiefs believe there's a real chance rookie cornerback Trent McDuffie returns week 6 against the Bills. McDuffie has been recovering well from a hamstring injury, and although he'll need to put together a good week of work, it's possible he plays next weekend. I hate the Cardinals. I hate their crummy little field. Harrison Butker and Trent McDuffie both got injured during that game on their poverty field. Fix it, please. Thank you. I said in a previous video it was turf. It's actually grass, which actually makes it worse that it's so bad. Do better. Please and thank you. So that's about it for the injury report. There have been a couple additions that I want to talk about. Wide receiver Marcus Kemp has been re-signed to the practice squad. He will probably get activated sometime soon to play some special teams, is my best guess. You guys already know that. I talked about that recently, but another receiver who just got signed today, wide receiver Chris Conley. Sound familiar? Chris Conley, the guy who was drafted by the Chiefs in 2015, played for them through the 2018 season, then played a couple years for the Jags, a couple years, or at least 1 year for the Texans, got cut from their practice squad this year, just this week, the Texans practice squad, and now finds his way back in Kansas City, but it was a very weird way that I found out he was signed to the Chiefs. Nobody reported on it. Matt Derrick literally just said, this was the first tweet I saw about it. New practice squad wide receiver Chris Conley has a locker, but he was in meetings this morning, so we didn't get a chance to catch up with him. I did talk with wide receiver Marcus Kemp, who was all smiles to be back with the Chiefs on the practice squad. A couple of teams were interested, but comfort with KC was key, so that's why Marcus Kemp is there. But this was literally the first tweet about wide receiver Chris Conley. So very surprising that this is how it was announced. But hey, he's back. Matt Verderame says Chris Conley put up 775 yards with the 2019 Jaguars. That roughly equals 2,497 yards with Mahomes. Yeah, that sounds about right. It looks like Conley's wearing number 89. Marcus Kemp is back in 85. You can see this video clip here. They are out there on the field. I will say this, though, about Trent McDuffie. Nate Taylor said in the open portion of today's practice, Trent McDuffie, left hamstring, can return next week. Watched his teammates from the sideline. Chris Conley and Marcus Kemp, both back on the practice squad, are participating in their first practice. I think it's kind of cool, honestly, that Chris Conley, after being drafted by the Chiefs in 2015, finds his way back to Kansas City. You gotta love that. I don't know how much use he is actually going to have on this team, but could provide some depth in case of injuries. We'll have to see. But again, had almost 800 yards back in 2019 with the Jags, so he still has some juice left in the tank, that is for sure. And another person I just found out is that Creed Humphrey didn't practice today, so wasn't mentioned by Andy Reid during his presser, but he didn't practice today, maybe an excused absence, but we'll have to take a look at the injury report when it comes out and see. But again, Mike Dana, probably limited, but practiced today. The only one that didn't was Harrison Butker, but Creed Humphrey was missing. Worth noting, Trent McDuffie can participate next week if he's healthy enough, was watching from the sidelines. All right, now I want to talk about another receiver, a little bit more of a notable name throughout the NFL. No shade to Chris Conley, who did good things when he was here in KC. So don't get it twisted there, but Odell Beckham Jr., there's been rumors swirling about him potentially coming to the Chiefs, and I've actually avoided those because I try not to let this channel be a rumor mill, but I actually have a conversation here with Odell Beckham Jr. himself on Twitter, not turning down the idea of coming to Kansas City. So let's get into this conversation. Marcus Spears basically said, hey man, not gonna lie, if you come to the Cowboys, I wouldn't complain. In fact, I would be very, very happy. Odell Beckham Jr. responds, bruh, you just killed me. Man, I'm going wherever God puts in my heart, and when the timing is right. Until then, I'm just head down working. Marcus Spears then said, you know it's love this way no matter what, bruv. Where you play don't change how I rock with you. I'm abbreviating and changing it to more white people terms because that is me. I'm very white. Anyway, Odell Beckham Jr. says, and you know that, take your team away, talk to me, give me 5 teams. So in response to those 5 teams, Marcus Spears gives him Kansas City Chiefs, Green Bay Packers, Rams, Buffalo, Baltimore. And you want to know Odell Beckham Jr.'s response? He put angel emoji, hands open, like I'm open to the idea, smiley face. We see eye to eye. So he would not be opposed to going to either of those 5 teams. Kansas City Chiefs, Packers, Rams, Buffalo Bills, Baltimore. What do all of these teams have in common? Very good quarterbacks, or at least very good teams. The Chiefs have Mahomes. The Packers have Rodgers. The Rams have Stafford, and Odell was there last season when they won the Super Bowl. So that's where he's been rumored to go for quite a while. That's where I thought he would return when he gets healthy. We won't know probably until closer to Thanksgiving, by the way, but either way, I figured it would be the Rams. But then there's also the Buffalo Bills. You got Josh Allen. You got Von Miller, who recently said in a presser that he talks to Odell Beckham Jr. all the time and said when the dust settles and Odell Beckham Jr. picks his team, he's confident that it's going to be the Bills. He didn't say that exactly, but that's what he insinuated. So interesting there. And then obviously the Baltimore Ravens need some receiving help and have Lamar Jackson, who is a legendary QB in the game right now. One of the guys that I like. He runs a lot. Call him a running back as a joke, but he also is a very good QB, former league MVP, all that good stuff. But I want to talk specifically about the Chiefs here. He said, we see eye to eye, meaning I'm not opposed to going to the Chiefs. And what I think Odell Beckham Jr. is going to do when he weighs his options, he's going to do it in a very smart way. Why? He's a veteran, a very smart man. He got a ring with the Rams, and he wants another one. So I think he's going to evaluate, what team is going to be best for him and his situation. He's going to want to go, no doubt, to a Super Bowl contender. And right now, is that the Rams? We don't know. They're still adjusting, going through some growing pains, and I think honestly miss Odell. They're 2-2 right now. Now, obviously, the Buffalo Bills are the best team that have ever been in the NFL in its entire history, even though they can't beat the Chiefs in the postseason. But it is what it is, right? They like to talk. All these pundits, let them run their filthy little mouths. They all are basically beardless men. But then, yeah, Kansas City. Very interesting. He's open to the idea, and it's because the Chiefs are freaking good, and they have Patrick Mahomes. Now, let's entertain this idea for a second. First off, what do I think? I think it would be dope. I wouldn't complain if Odell Beckham Jr. came to KC. It's a complicated playbook and scheme to learn. Talking about Andy Reid, very complex. But Odell could come and just run certain routes. Mahomes could pretty much get in the huddle with him, give the guys the play, then look at Odell and say, you run this route. And he says, aye, aye, captain. And he'd probably make magic happen, to be honest. He is that good of a receiver. So there's a possibility there with KC where, we thought maybe when the Chiefs signed Josh Gordon, he could come in, a shadow of his former self and be able to do something similar. But I think Josh Gordon was a little bit past all that, if I'm going to be 100% keep it a buck with y'all. But Odell Beckham Jr. is not. Now, he's coming off of a knee injury. I think he tore his ACL in the Super Bowl, had off-season surgery, is coming back. But he is still that guy, allegedly, in my opinion. I mean, you look at Odell's stats since getting drafted in 2014. He's had almost 1,000-plus yard receiving seasons almost every single year, and a lot of double-digit TD seasons. He had 1,000 yards back in 2019, and then obviously was with the Rams in 2021 and put up some nice yards, 44 receptions for 537 yards, a 12.2 average, 5 TDs. Now, again, he's injured, and he's kind of injury prone. For example, in 2019, he underwent surgery in the offseason to repair a core muscle injury. Then in 2020, he tore his ACL. And then, obviously, he tore his ACL again in the Super Bowl. But even before that, he had a shoulder AC joint sprain, a hip bruise. But then, tore his ACL again. So he's kind of been through some unfortunate injuries. But I wouldn't be opposed to having him on the team. Now, the Chiefs have less than $1 million in cap space. But it's been said that they could pull the emergency lever and reconfigure Patrick Mahomes' contract a little bit to free up some cap space. So I think they could bring him on. If Patrick Mahomes said, hey, the offense isn't clicking like it needs to be, bring him in. Andy Reid says, that's a cool idea. And Brett Veach is like, yeah, we can make it happen. It's worth maneuvering your contract or doing some maneuvering to bring him in here, because I think they would consider it if they're like, adding him will for sure increase our chances in the postseason. Let's do it. Now, I don't think it's likely right now because the Chiefs aren't struggling on offense. They put up 41 against the Buccaneers defense, an amazing defense, by the way. They put up 45 against the Cardinals. So when they're clicking, they're putting up hella points. That's West Coast slang from my wife, who's from Cali. Now, to that point, the offense isn't even fully clicking yet with the new receiving core, and McColl's heel is banged up. So I think the Chiefs are only going to get better unless there's some major injuries there in the wide receiver room. I doubt he comes. I don't think they want to pull the emergency lever of maneuvering Patrick Mahomes' contract around to free up cap space to bring in Odell or somebody like that unless it's absolutely necessary. But hey, Odell is a smart man. He wants another ring, and the Kansas City Chiefs would be one of the top teams, would be one of his greatest chances to be able to get another. So do you blame him? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. You want to see Odell Beckham Jr. here? I get asked about that in almost every video, so we're addressing it today because it was more than just rumors. This is straight from Odell Beckham Jr.'s Twitter thumbs, his mouth. Definitely let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments down below, talking about Odell Beckham Jr. coming to KC. What about your thoughts on Chris Conley returning? Kind of cool. Not sure the impact he's going to have, but let me know your thoughts on that. Are you excited for Trent McDuffie to, fingers crossed, return next week? There's also Blake Bell, who could hopefully return sometime soon, but there's no real word on that. Lucas Niang is a bit slow to return as well. Hopefully McCole Hardman can get that heel injury recovered from so he can start showing out on offense like I think he will be able to. And then I also want to add this. Linebacker Willie Gay Jr. has returned back to the building from his suspension. He still can't play for 2 more weeks, but he's back in the building with his teammates. So that's got to be good for Willie, and I'm happy that he's able to come back in the building. It was probably the hardest for him when not only could he not play games on the field with his teammates, but not be in the building with them. So I'm glad he's going to be able to be there. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments down below, and we'll argue about it down there per usual, because I'm here for all the freaking smoke. Make sure to like if you enjoyed, sub for more, all that good stuff. Then check out this video here, pew pew, which is a video that YouTube thinks you're gonna like based on your interest. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?